We were talking about the proposals of former President Trump in the last segment. Let's turn now to the policy proposals of Vice President Kamala Harris. What did you find there?
Yeah, so what the vice president has argued for is a range of different policies, including increasing the child tax credit pretty aggressively to $3,000 to $3,600 per child, but as well as an additional child tax credit of a bonus essentially for $6,000 in the year of a newborn. And so pretty, let's call it pro-natalist in that sense of subsidizing having kids. She also wants to expand the earned income tax credit a little bit, not huge. And in terms of the Affordable Care Act, those premiums are already pretty heavily subsidized by the government. She wants to increase those subsidies even more, and then have some support for down payment for first-time home buyers. And then on how she's going to pay for some of that is on the business side is increase the corporate tax rate to 28%. Up from 21%. And so it is true that they've been having these side conversations on other things as well. It's actually not inside of their actual plan. It does, the way described is that Trump is pretty clear but expensive, and Harris is cheaper but a bit more cagey because they seem to be telling a lot of people yes on the side, but it's actually not inside their plan. So things like getting more of the revenue from their from the Biden-Harris fiscal year 25 budget, but shouldn't that also include the spending, or telling people that she believes in the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act extension, but for households making $400,000 or less, and then unclear what that really means and how that would be implemented. But so we've added some of that analysis to our website as well, that says if this was what's meant by that, this is how these numbers change a little bit. But for the most part, what we find is that she would increase debt by about $1.2 trillion over 10 years. But on a dynamic basis, after you account now for the negative economic feedback effects, especially associated with raising the corporate tax rate, and as well as the things like premium support, which would reduce labor supply. People just don't have to work as much anymore. On a dynamic basis, that 1.2 trillion now goes up to about $2 trillion of additional debt over 10 years. So definitely cheaper than Trump. If we add some of these other things that she's been talking about, depending how you add them and things like that, that adds maybe another 235 billion over 10 years. But it seems like, the liberals in the media want to focus on some of those side conversations. Conservatives want to focus on some of those other pieces of the side conversations. It's a bit chaotic right now. So I think we have to mostly just stick with what she actually has said in their campaign release, instead of these Twitter conversations and things like that, which will hints here and there. But nonetheless, I think it's definitely also going to increase debt, and it's also going to reduce GDP.